Yeah, alright. How those levels looking? It's looking alright. It's looking alright to me. So I guess I'll leave it there. Wonderful. Wonderful. Good evening. It's late. Minute till midnight. Sunday, May 30th, 2021. If you're new to the channel, you're unfamiliar with this format, Let's Talk series is really me just talking into the void. Kind of a meditative practice, live journaling, rambling, train of thought, existential dive, really depends on the night. Or day. Yeah, these aren't exclusively at night, though the vast majority happen at night. I. It's always tricky trying to pick out where to start. Now, how do you explain a trailing on thought process that's moved throughout the day? How do you track the genesis of a feeling, of an emotion? How do you find the birth of a sentiment? You walk it back step by step by step. And I think it's easy to get lost trying to find the origin of a story, the right starting point, that you lose a sight of the story itself. I don't really know what it is I want to talk about. I'm unsettled. I'm vaccinated now, which, it's great, I guess. It's great because I'm less vulnerable to a seemingly dangerous disease. For me personally, given my age, health, maybe not, but I'm not invincible. For other people, certainly. I've said it time and time again with reference to the COVID-19 pandemic and my being quarantined, or doing my best to be quarantined. The intent was always to protect other people, not myself. It's no surprise, I think, for me to say I don't want to go back to normal. Normal is the callous disregard of so many lives, but I mean, pandemic was too. With vaccination, if you're unaware, you're supposed to wait a couple of weeks, just like any other infection of COVID-19, to make sure that you're not contagious anymore before acting as if normal, right? Going about like normal, not wearing a mask according to the CDC. And yeah, Yeah, I guess the point I'm at. How do you build a life? I think that's really the question I'm presented with. You know, I'm unemployed still by choice. Not upset about that in the least. I'm enjoying being able to be on unemployment, a system that I paid into, and getting the insurance that I paid into the system out of it. Currently, I have savings up until the end of November as far as basic living expenses go. So I have a lot to be grateful for, but I have not been making a life for myself for the last year. No, I've been living, I've been surviving, but I've talked with friends who are thousands of miles away. But yeah, I don't know. It doesn't feel real. At the end of the day, they're just voices and faces online. You know, electronic hum can't keep you warm at night. Can't hold your hand. Can't sit and take in a sunset with you or meet you at 2 a.m. when you're just too stir crazy to stay inside anymore. I'm being presented with a great opportunity. I can do more or less whatever the fuck I want to do. That's not a new opportunity being presented to me. It's not. It's an opportunity I've been presented with in my life over and over again. And so often in the past, I've met that opportunity with fear, doubt, apprehension, and just being overwhelmed by the sheer volume of possibility. To the point of paralysis, more often than not, to the point of not doing anything. And I recognize I'm at a very real risk of doing the same here. Just staying inside, playing games, watching shows, ordering out, just surviving as long as I can, and writing this out as long as I can. But to no end. Alas, life, I think, is but to no end. Not not to be, dark or overly nihilistic. I feel a deep obligation to visit family in Kentucky. I don't want to fly, but taking a train out would take a while, and if I take a train out, I'm getting a fucking sleeper car because I'm not staying in one chair that entire time, and if I'm doing that, I'm on a fucking hotel on wheels, and I don't know, that sounds nice in a way, but it also feels like I'm not building anything. You know, going to visit family in Kentucky or old friends in Indiana. What am I building in doing that? I really don't know. It just feels like running. Like pretending. Like, if I go to visit, I have to pretend, make a whole show about how well I'm doing, what I've been up to. Try and reassure them that I'm okay. That they don't need to worry about me. That they didn't make a mistake in raising me. Or... yeah, I don't know. And like old friends. I'm not the person I used to be when I was friends with them. There are similarities, yeah, but I'm not. I don't want to just sit around and play video games and drink, sing shitty emo music, and get high and watch whatever fucking fiction is popular at the time. Like, if I go back to where so many of my friends, old friends, are, what's the point? Hey, nice to see you. Glad you're still alive. What are you doing? Right? Like, what's going on with you? Cool. Yeah, I mean, I miss them, and I really like them to be a part of my life, but I don't think that's really a realistic possibility. Not, tangibly. Not consistently. Last year before COVID started taking off, I had tentative plans to fly out an ex of mine. To meet up, to catch up, to see what it was like to meet again after so long of just talking online. The whole doubt of like, how would I feel about them? How would I think about them? What would be natural or unnatural? These people in our past are frozen moments in time. They don't age, they don't change. The ideas of them are fixed. And there's something, quite dangerous and unsettling about unfixing them. Letting that idea become a person again. Letting that stillness, solidity, and melt, back into the fluidity and complicated motions of a human being. Maybe it'd be like getting to know a person for the first time all over again. Maybe it would feel like picking up just where you left off. You can never tell ahead of time. Sometimes it's exciting when it feels like you haven't skipped a beat. Other times frustrating. You know, when I think about building a life, you know, building a future, I I honestly don't have the slightest clue where to start. I could volunteer, sure. Do I want to volunteer at one of the nonprofits that cater to, you know, the most vulnerable people in my city, but ultimately don't take any meaningful steps to help them be less vulnerable? Do I volunteer at a museum or historical society, something I care deeply about, doing a job I'm sure that I'd find deeply dissatisfying? Typically, volunteers don't get to do very meaningful work. Important work necessary for the apparatus to work because of the profit motivator of everything in our fucking country. I don't know. I don't know, that attitude that, you know, nothing is good enough, so might as well just give up and not even try. That is a very real struggle of mine. Is it an excuse that I use? Because I'm afraid to try? Yeah, in part. In part, absolutely. Yeah. But I don't even know what I want to try. Like, I miss having friends, but how do you even go about making friends? You know, typically you make friends as a as an aside, you know, as a part of your work or schooling or church or other thing that you do. You just meet people that you happen to be around, who happen to be doing something the same as you or adjacent to you. It's kind of hard to artificially induce. And I mean, along with that comes the thought of like, oh well, you know, I guess I should get back into dating. Should I? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I miss romance. I miss flirtation. I miss you know, the sentiment and the sensation, right? Definitely the sexual aspect too, but I wasn't healthy going into quarantine. And I'm not healthy coming out of it. Am I healthier? It's hard to say. It's really hard to say. I feel I feel more at peace. More hmm, I don't really have the word for it. Like I've had more time to rest, more time to catch my breath, but still, you know, I have soft spots, bruises, scars that may never heal. May be as healed as they're ever going to get. And really that thought then flows into, well, you know, Alex, maybe therapy, you know? And you know, it's an important part of therapy oftentimes to approach it with a goal Right. To be intentional about what you're wanting, what you're needing, what you're trying to explore. And yeah, that's a little trickier. I want a sanity check. No, not for someone to tell me that I'm sane. By a sanity check, I mean I want to talk to someone intelligent, someone studied, someone who I, trust their advice or trust their perspective or value. Value is a better word. Not trust, value their perspective. But also another part of me just wants to be fucking dissected, diagnosed. Just... But there's... God, I don't know. I don't know. I have this attitude, like, why are they going to tell me that I don't already know? Right? Like, I clearly have... Watch that bitrate just tank for a second. I clearly have issues with anxiety and depression. And I have for most of my life. And, I navigate them. Do I navigate them particularly well? I don't know. Compared to what, right? One of the worst things you can do with mental health, or health in general, is start making comparisons between yourself and other people, which is very ironic, given that whether you're physically ill, mentally ill, or, whatever else, you are held up to the standard of this imaginary person, this imaginary healthy person, this imaginary neurotypical, healthy, average body, average age person. This complete fucking artifact. Ugh. I want to be doing something with my time, with my life that matters. I want to help people. I want to build something. I want to do something that I'm proud of. I want to be someone that I'm proud of. Right. I watched a show today. I'm not gonna say what it is. A friend had suggested that I check it out. And I did. I didn't really like it. There were parts of it I liked, but so much of it I had moments of like, really? You like this? Really? You recommended this for me? I'm such an asshole. Such a pretentious asshole. I saw the moments in the show and recognized, oh, this friend probably like this. I see a lot of my friend in this character. Yeah. Yeah, it was a little disappointing. I'm not asking for help or guidance with all this meandering thought, right? Like, what I'm thinking about traveling, a big part of the appeal is like this sense of adventure, going somewhere new. The mystery of people not knowing who I am, the lack of consequence and the connections, the romanticism of it, the chances for the kind of passion that only ships passing in the night can have. All that silly romantic nonsense, but the fact of the matter is, I could do that here. I could so easily do that here. Hell, I could act like I'm traveling. I could get a fucking hotel downtown. They're so cheap as hell. Live like I'm some out-of-town tourist. But do I really want that? Yeah, I don't know. I hate to say it, there's not a lot in Seattle that I want to explore. I've been to all the museums. I've been to a lot of different restaurants. I've been to a lot of different, touristy attractions. There's tons of shows I haven't seen, tons of bars I haven't been to, tons of clubs. But those, those can be fun, but they don't really pull me in. If I'm being honest, the thought of traveling alone actually scares me. I've done it so much in the past. But it does, it scares me. The thought of, like, what if something happens? I had this the other night when I had a fever after getting my COVID shot, my second COVID shot. And I get this anytime I think about my health and mortality. Like, how long? How long would it take someone to notice me not being around? And it's not an uncommon thing to think about, but it's not a thought that a lot of people openly share or openly talk about. And the answer, it doesn't fucking matter, right? If that ever were to come up, it'd be a little late for me to find out. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I should be excited, right? At the prospect of being able to go out and do whatever I want, being able to date again, travel, explore, volunteer, just do whatever I want. But God, so much of what I want is to just not hurt. Not live in a world that day after day bombastically repeats the injustices and torments of the days before. So much of what I long for is just a fucking break. And it's a break I'm never gonna get. I don't really have a positive spin for that. I don't know. Now, we find comfort in other people, in community, in solidarity. Misery loves company, right? And, yeah. You know, a shared burden and it's an easier burden, all these truisms. I wish that any of these problems that I see with the world, any of them, one of them, felt tangible enough for me to do something about, to impact in some meaningful way. And God, when I've tried to talk to people before, I get this fucking bullshit answer. Bullshit response of, oh, you're already doing a lot, or oh, you're already doing more than I am. And it just makes me angrier. Like, I'm barely doing anything, asshole. Why the fuck aren't you doing at least the minimum I am? Yeah, I don't know. There are no obvious answers. Right, and I don't think that's a very contentious take. Not really ever any obvious answers. Not to the big, important questions. The existential questions, kind of keep you up at night. Or make you space out and disassociate in the middle of the day, make you forget what you were doing, or scroll through your phone endlessly trying to not feel what you're feeling. There's so much so fundamentally broken about the world that I exist in. And it is absolutely exhausting watching other people trying to pretend that it's not broken or pretend that they're okay. They're so fundamentally not okay. And there's so much trauma and suffering. And some days it feels hard to breathe. It's so disturbing to see so many people forcing themselves to feel okay, to act okay. And they're so not okay. Particularly, I see this the most in older generations. You know, folks in their 40s, their 50s. And I know that's middle age, but, you know, come on. There's just so much deep, deep denial. And if you're in denial about something, you can't address it, you can't fix it, you can't work on it. To that effect, I have no idea what I'm in denial about. What I should be working on or can be working on. You know, it's work enough just staying alive. I appreciate that. I miss feeling... I miss feeling loved and safe with someone. I miss feeling like I belong, like I'm wanted. And, you know, bless the hearts of friends and family I have that call or message me, or whenever I'm on Discord, you know, try and build me up. I know they're trying to give me this feeling that I'm wanting. But it doesn't register. Or it just feels wrong. Like a lie. Or that they're wrong and they're just too ignorant to know why. I don't want any particular relationship back. Any particular love. Just be nice to... Yeah. I don't know. I'm not talking about this specific thing or anything that I brought up as some sort of cry for help or me crowdsourcing advice. That's the last fucking thing I want. I like having conversations that we don't typically have. I like talking about things that so often are just things people keep to themselves or let them eat them from the inside, or only come out in therapy or notebooks or quietly scrawled letters. And I think these quiet thoughts, these lingering thoughts, these unquiet thoughts are so much of what it is to be human, so much of what it is to be alive. And these quiet, hidden aspects. I definitely don't think it's bravery or anything. It's just... tired of not talking about him, I guess. I've been thinking about how nice it would be to just go fucking camp somewhere for a few days. Again, this like fantasy of running away. Of being away from people, away from the world. Just breathing in, breathing out, watching the sun. Wait, not like staring at the sun, but watching sunset, sunrise. Connecting with time, nature, and all that jazz. And there's a real appeal there, but it won't fix anything. Not meaningfully, not really. I've made such a habit of running. Yeah, I really don't know where to start as far as building goes. It seems so important. I'm 29 years old. I have one good friend in this city. That's only because they just moved here. I have a couple distant friends in the city. I have a couple of exes, a couple of former employers, a whole handfuls of former co-workers. That's not a community, Oh, I have neighbors I don't even recognize. I have people that I regularly see when I go to the grocery store, go to restaurants where I like to get takeout from. I don't know their names, and they don't know mine. And there's such anonymity. And I maintain this anonymity out of respect. I assume most people don't want me being like, "Hi, I'm Alex. Nice to meet you. Hi, I'm your neighbor. Hi, I'm, whatever. Let me introduce myself." Vast majority of people I just assume are too fucking busy, don't have the time, don't have the energy. They're just trying to get home or get to where they're going. Maybe I have a very pessimistic outlook, but well, it's the outlook I have. Yeah, I don't know. This meandering isn't really going anywhere, and the intention isn't for me to reach some blossoming conclusion, revelation. Not really, it's just to talk. Just to process. Just to hear the sound of my own voice, because I just can't get that enough. When I start to think of things I want to do, a lot of what a company there's like, oh, I could go on a lot of dates. I could go to a lot of places I've never been. And I try to stay with that like aspirational trajectory, right? Trying to focus on things that I could do, new things. outside of me things, but almost immediately, like little ticks, little mosquitoes, little fucking fleas start biting. Like, oh, fix this about yourself, change that about yourself. Should. Before you start dating, you need to cut your fucking hair. Work out more often. Maybe go outside so you're not a fucking pale ass monster. Like, who would want to date you? You don't do anything all day. What do you really have to share? Ah, yeah. Love. Those little nips and bites. I do think, to some extent, a lot of human interactions are transactional. And I've really struggled for a long time with that. Those calculations, with that arithmetic. What do I have to offer? What do I bring to the table? I've thought about this in terms of relationships, both romantic and platonic, since I was, oh god, 14, 15. More than I used to is probably the answer. I'm more financially independent than I've ever been, more financially stable than I've ever been. I'm better read, better learned, more articulate, more self-aware, more compassionate, more affectionate, I think. More effective communicator than I've ever been. Anything that I've ever had to give, I only think I have more to give now. And yet, it still feels wildly inadequate. You know, I don't have such an excess of capital or social capital that I can serve as a resource for anyone. I mean, I think to a fucking year ago and the protests going on, and yeah, you know, I was a resource for friends who were protesting to pull their ass out of the gas, make sure they weren't alone. And, you know, that was something. I've saved lives, right? I'm a good person to know, but like, damn, it feels inadequate. No, damn, I feel inadequate. Coupling that with my kind of abandonment complex. I want to call it a full-blown complex, but I definitely have abandonment issues. That if I reach out to someone and they don't respond, my first assumption is not that they're busy, or that they didn't see it, or that they just don't have the bandwidth. No, I jump to, like, they fucking hate me, they finally got sick of me, they think I'm a loser, they only ever tolerate putting up with me, they don't really like me, it's all just feeling guilty having any kind of relationship with me, you know, etc., etc., etc. I know it's irrational. I know. But at the time, it doesn't feel so irrational. And I mean, there is some rationale to a lot of these feelings. Like, I think it's healthy to recognize the validity of uh of that anxiety, of that fear. Not giving into it, not letting it consume you, but not smothering it, not silencing it, not like sticking your fingers in your ears and saying la 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 as loud as you can and pretending it's not there. You know, our feelings, even when they are out of proportion, let's say, our feelings are still instruments meant to guide us, to inform us. I don't know, I'm fucking tired. I am deeply tired, existentially tired. I don't want to go to sleep. I don't want to go to sleep and wake up and do this shit all over again tomorrow. I'm not saying in any way that I don't intend to do just that. I do intend to do just that. I'm just so fucking tired of it. I'm tired of spending time and energy spinning the wheel, not building anything, not doing anything, not making new connections, just kind of iterating and iterating and iterating. And, you know, I do get some satisfaction out of the mods that I work on, the projects that I work on, the things that I post about, talk about, the conversations that I have, especially when I hear from people that I introduced them to something or they hadn't thought of something in a certain way before, or that they, you know, whatever else. And personally, I find it fulfilling to expand my skill sets, to learn more. But at the same time, I'm just tired. I'm tired and full of longing. I think the goal for tonight, for this, is to go to an hour. So I got about 6-7 minutes left. Sorry for not responding to chat. It's nice to engage with it. I'm just kind of stuck in my own head right now. When am I not? When am I not? When I first moved to Seattle, I walked around at night. Just aimlessly. I felt safe. But at some point, after I started dating Cora, I started feeling decidedly unsafe walking around at night in Seattle. It's not a particularly dangerous city. As a matter of fact, it's generally safe as far as violent crime goes. Property crime, not so much, but fuck who owns property, not me. I inherited a lot of fear from her. Well, inherit is the wrong word. I absorbed a lot of fear from her. And I haven't really figured out how to put it down. I don't know if I'll ever be able to completely put it down. I'm okay. No, I really am pretty okay. I'm bored. I'm dissatisfied. I'm full of longing and frustration and want, but I'm not dying. I'm not starving. I have shelter. I have so much that so many other people desperately want for. And I am grateful. I'm appreciative. It's just I don't know, trying to weigh what you're wanting, what you're feeling against the suffering of other people. That's such a fucking puritanical Christian thing to do. Oh, well, it could be worse. Be happy you have what you have because it could be worse. Yeah, that sentiment carries, but it could be better. It should be better. Not for me individually, for fucking everyone. No, I don't know what to do with that anger. I don't want to fucking protest. I never really believed in protesting and marching. It's just there in solidarity with other people, trying to keep other people safe. I believe in direct action. I believe in organizing. I believe in, doing things. But I don't want to live destructively. Don't want to live violently. There's a quote that has been eating at me for, God, like at least a month now. And the quote is approximately, "All I want is a quiet life and to care." I've tried looking up that fucking quote, and all I get are a bunch of fucking inspirational posters, people asking, is it okay to want a simple, quiet life? And I don't know, I feel like the quote is maybe like, they want a quiet life and a care. Yeah, all I'm getting is like 1 Thessalonians 4:11, which just has quiet life in it. God, I hate the Bible. I hate how you type in any fucking word like, oh, did you want this Bible verse? No, bitch, I didn't. I wanted some esoteric other thing that I can't remember any significant amount of detail about to cobble together. When I was younger, I wanted to change the world. Now, I wasn't sure how, right? I wanted power, I think, when I was younger. I really longed for it. And God, when I was a teenager, I even tried to plan out what kind of trajectory what I need to take with school, with my grades, with careers to attain as much power as possible so that I could do something. It's pretty clear I let love and romance get the better of me and put those as a higher priority, and I don't think that was a mistake. Well, certainly it wasn't a mistake. It was a choice. I don't want that anymore. I don't long for that. Do I long for a quiet life? I don't know. I don't know if I'm there exactly. I do want a quiet life. I do want to care, but I also want, God, I want to be able to do something to help people. To like meaningfully help people, not just like one or two, but you know, I wish revolution were as easy as burning down a precinct, rolling over a couple of cop cars, lighting off some fireworks, throwing down some graffiti, marching in some fucking parade. I wish it were that easy. But it's not. It's not. It's slow and it's exhaustive and it's one bite at a time, one person at a time, one conversation at a time. And it's so hard to feel like it's enough, like anything is enough. But, you know, at the end of the day, you are really your only arbiter of enough. The only one that matters, anyway. Because when the lights go down and, you know, the curtain closes, you're really only accountable to yourself. So it's been over an hour now, and this has already been self-indulgent enough. So I think I'm going to wrap this up. I don't have a takeaway. Yeah, I should do all of these myriad small things I'm wanting to do. Yeah, I should. Well, you know, we'll see if I do. That's enough for tonight. If you're watching on Twitch, thanks for keeping me company. Sorry for not being as engaged as I typically like to be. And if you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, well, you know, thanks for the belated company. And until later, I'm gonna say toodaloo. Take care. Bye-bye.